The hum of the space station Nexus Prime filled the air, a soft yet constant reminder that I was no longer on Earth. I could see the stars twinkling through the large translucent windows that surrounded our classroom, their distant light mingling with the glow of the advanced holographic displays that flickered to life around me. I was Ellie Lynn, a 10-year-old girl with an insatiable curiosity and a heart full of dreams. Today was my first class with Dr. Zeleth, a professor renowned across the galaxy for his groundbreaking research on intelligence among different species. My stomach fluttered with excitement, a mix of nerves and anticipation. As I settled into my seat, I glanced around the room. My classmates were a diverse group. Some were shimmering beings of light from the planet Etheria, while others had intricate, colorful patterns on their skin, indicative of their alien origins. I was a speck of humanity in a sea of extraordinary beings. I could feel their eyes on me, a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. Would I be able to keep up with them? The classroom door slid open with a soft swoosh, and in walked Dr. Zeleth. He was unlike anyone I had ever seen. Standing tall and slender, his skin shimmered like the surface of a jewel, shifting colors under the light. His large expressive eyes seemed to hold galaxies of wisdom, and when he spoke, his voice resonated with a melodic quality that was both soothing and commanding. "Welcome, young minds of Nexus Prime," he began, his voice wrapping around me like a warm blanket. "Today we embark on a journey to explore the depths of cognitive ability and intelligence across species." I felt a rush of adrenaline. This was it. I was ready to dive into this adventure. "Let's begin with a challenge," Dr. Zeleth continued, a glint of mischief in his eyes. "I have prepared a series of puzzles designed to test your cognitive abilities. I encourage you all to think outside the box." As he projected the first puzzle onto the large holographic screen, I squinted at the intricate patterns and numbers swirling before me. My classmates whispered among themselves, their eyes darting between the puzzle and each other, but I felt an odd calmness wash over me. "Ready, set, go," Dr. Zeleth announced, and I instantly felt the world around me fade away. The puzzle was no longer just a series of shapes and symbols, it was a living entity, begging to be understood. My mind raced as I analyzed the patterns, the connections, and within mere seconds, I saw it. 3. I shouted, my voice ringing out in the silence of the room. Dr. Zeleth blinked, his expression one of disbelief. 3, he repeated, looking at the screen where the answer was yet to be revealed. 3. I insisted, my heart pounding in my chest. He nodded slowly, then turned to the screen. The puzzle dissolved into a series of numbers and shapes that rearranged themselves until they formed the number 3. A collective gasp filled the room, and I felt heat rise to my cheeks. My classmates stared wide-eyed, their mouths agape. I could hardly believe it myself. Had I really solved that so quickly? Dr. Zeleth's eyes sparkled with intrigue as he walked closer to me. "Ellie Lynn," he said, his voice both gentle and probing, "how did you arrive at that answer so swiftly?" I shrugged, feeling a mix of pride and confusion. "I just saw it. It was like the pieces of a puzzle fell into place." "Fascinating," he mused, his brow furrowing as he regarded me with newfound interest. "You possess a remarkable ability to perceive complex patterns. This could be the beginning of something extraordinary." I felt a surge of excitement at his words. "You think so?" "Indeed," he replied, glancing back at the class. "But let us not get ahead of ourselves. There are many more challenges to tackle today." As the class continued, I found myself immersed in a whirlwind of puzzles and problems, each more complex than the last. With every challenge, I could sense the atmosphere shift around me. My classmates, who had initially viewed me with skepticism, began to regard me with a mix of admiration and curiosity. After solving several more puzzles, Dr. Zeleth paused, his expression turning serious. "Ellie, if you are willing, I would like to invite you to participate in a special project designed to explore the depths of human intelligence and its implications for the galaxy." My heart raced. "A special project? What does that involve?" "Together, we will undertake a series of cognitive challenges, pushing the boundaries of our understanding of intelligence," he explained, his gaze steady and intense. "I believe your insights could lead to groundbreaking discoveries." I could hardly contain my excitement. "Yes. I'd love to." "Excellent," Dr. Zeleth said, his tone returning to its usual warmth. "But I must caution you, Ellie. This journey may uncover truths that challenge the very foundations of intergalactic science." I couldn't help but wonder what that meant. What truths lay hidden beneath the surface? The class continued, but my mind buzzed with possibilities. As I looked around at my classmates, I saw not just peers, but an entire universe of potential waiting to be explored. After the lesson, I approached Dr. Zeleth as the other students began to disperse. Professor, I asked, a hint of trepidation in my voice. What do you think makes humans different from other species? He regarded me thoughtfully, his large eyes narrowing slightly. That is a profound question, Ellie. Humans possess an emotional depth that often transcends pure intellect. It is this emotional intelligence that can lead to innovative thinking and creativity. I nodded, absorbing his words. Do you think that's why I was able to solve the puzzles so quickly? Because I felt something when I looked at them. Precisely, he replied, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. Your unique perspective may hold the key to uncovering aspects of intelligence that have yet to be understood. As I left the classroom, a sense of purpose filled me. I was no longer just a young girl from Earth. I was a pioneer on the brink of discovering something monumental. I couldn't shake the feeling that my journey with Dr. Zeleth would change everything, not just for me, but for humanity and its place in the cosmos. The stars outside the window sparkled brighter than ever, and as I gazed into the vastness of space, I felt a connection to something greater. This was only the beginning, and I was ready to embrace whatever mysteries lay ahead. The fluorescent lights of the Nexus Prime classroom flickered above me as I sat across from Dr. Zeleth, my heart racing with anticipation. The sleek, metallic surface of the table felt cool beneath my fingertips, and I could sense the weight of the moment in the air. We were about to dive into a series of cognitive challenges that would not only test my skills but also unveil the depths of human intelligence. I was both excited and nervous. Ellie, Dr. Zeleth began, his voice a melodic blend of authority and warmth. Today, we will push the boundaries of what you know. I have prepared a series of challenges that will require not just logic, but creativity as well. He paused, his multifaceted eyes glimmering with intrigue. Are you ready? I nodded vigorously. Ready. My mind was already buzzing with ideas. I had always loved puzzles, and now, the thought of working alongside one of the galaxy's leading scholars made me feel like I was about to embark on a grand adventure. Very well, he said, and with a flick of his wrist, a holographic display materialized above the table. It showed a complex geometric puzzle, twisting and turning in a way that made my head spin. This is the first challenge. You have 5 minutes to solve it. I leaned forward, my brow furrowing in concentration. The patterns danced in front of me, each angle and curve calling for attention. I shut out the world around me, focusing solely on the puzzle. Time slipped away as I mentally rotated the shapes, trying to find the right combination. Suddenly, it clicked. I could see it now. The solution gleamed like a beacon in the fog of my thoughts. Done! I exclaimed, my voice echoing through the otherwise silent room. Dr. Zeleth's eyes widened in surprise. You solved it in under a minute. He couldn't hide his astonishment. Incredible. Let's move to the next one. As the challenges progressed, each one more intricate than the last, I felt a strange connection forming with Dr. Zeleth. He was not just a teacher, he was a fellow seeker of knowledge, and I sensed that he too was learning from me. I could see the gears turning in his mind as he watched me tackle the puzzles, his expression shifting from intrigue to concern. What was he thinking? After a particularly challenging sequence involving multidimensional shapes, I took a deep breath, my heart pounding with exhilaration. Dr. Zeleth, I ventured, do you think humans are really that different from other species? I mean, I know we have our strengths, but sometimes I feel like our emotions cloud our thinking. He regarded me thoughtfully, his gaze penetrating. That's an interesting observation, Ellie. Many alien races view emotions as weaknesses, yet it is clear to me that they can also enhance our cognitive processes. Your ability to integrate emotion into problem-solving may be precisely what sets you apart. I tilted my head, considering his words. So you think our feelings make us smarter? Not smarter in a conventional sense, but they provide us with perspectives that logic alone cannot. Emotional intelligence can lead to unique insights, something that many of my colleagues overlook. I smiled, feeling a surge of pride. That's so cool. I've always believed that feelings are important, but it's nice to know they can help us think better too. Dr. Zeleth nodded, his expression a mix of admiration and concern. You have a gift, Ellie, one that could change the way we understand intelligence across the galaxy. His voice softened. But with such gifts come responsibilities. Responsibilities. I repeated, my brow furrowing. What do you mean? He hesitated, as if weighing his words carefully. There are factions within the galaxy that may not view your abilities with the same awe that I do. Some may fear what you represent. Fear. I echoed, a feeling of unease creeping in. Why would they be afraid of me? Because your potential challenges their long-held beliefs about intelligence and superiority. The implications of a human surpassing alien intellect could shift the balance of power. I thought about it for a moment, the weight of his words settling heavily on my shoulders. So, people might want to control me? To use my abilities for their own purposes? Precisely, he replied, his tone serious. That is why we must tread carefully. Your journey is just beginning, and while I believe in your ability to navigate it, the path may not always be safe. The discussion lingered in my mind as we continued with the challenges. Each puzzle seemed to crack open a new layer of understanding, and I realized how much I enjoyed this exploration. With every solved enigma, I felt like I was uncovering pieces of a larger cosmic puzzle, one that not only defined me but could redefine humanity's place in the universe. As the hours passed, the room filled with the warm glow of interstellar twilight. I glanced out the window, where stars twinkled like distant diamonds. The beauty of the cosmos was both inspiring and daunting. I turned back to Dr. Zeleth, who was studying me intently, as if trying to decode the mysteries of my mind. Dr. Zeleth, I began, a thought forming in my head. Do you ever wonder what other secrets humans might hold? Like, what if there's something deep inside us that we don't even know about yet? His expression shifted to one of intrigue. What do you mean, Ellie? I mean, what if our emotions are just the tip of the iceberg? What if there's a hidden potential within us that we haven't tapped into? Something that could change everything. I felt my heart race as the idea took shape in my mind. He leaned closer, his interest piqued. You may be onto something. Many scientists across various races have studied the concept of latent potential. It's often believed that the human brain operates in ways we have yet to fully understand. Exactly. I exclaimed, my excitement bubbling over. What if we're like cosmic sponges, soaking up experiences and emotions, and that gives us a different kind of intelligence? A deeper connection to the universe. Dr. Zeleth's expression was a mixture of admiration and concern. You have a remarkable imagination, Ellie. But with such theories come the responsibility to ground them in evidence. Of course. I replied, grinning. But it feels like there's so much more we could discover together. I want to explore this hidden potential. He smiled, but there was a flicker of worry in his eyes. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but we must also be cautious, Ellie. The galaxy is watching, and while your journey may lead to incredible discoveries, it may also attract those who wish to exploit you. As those words hung in the air, I felt a shiver run down my spine. The reality of my situation began to settle in. I was not just a girl with a knack for puzzles. I was a beacon of potential in a universe that was often unforgiving. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for the challenges ahead. Whatever lay in store, I was determined to embrace it, to uncover the mysteries that connected humanity to the cosmos. Let's continue, Dr. Zeleth, I said, my resolve firm. I want to see how far we can go. Very well, Ellie, he replied, a glimmer of pride in his eyes. Let's unravel the cosmic enigma together. And with that, we dove back into the challenges, a wave of curiosity propelling us forward into the unknown, where intellect and emotion intertwined, revealing the true essence of what it meant to be human in a vast, intricate galaxy. As I sat across from Dr. Zeleth, a sense of anticipation bubbled within me. The spacious room of our makeshift lab on Nexus Prime was filled with holographic displays, each pulsating with vibrant colors and intricate designs. My heart raced, not from fear but from sheer excitement. Today, I was going to tackle another cognitive challenge, and I could sense that Dr. Zeleth was as eager as I was. Ellie, he began, his voice a melodious blend of curiosity and concern. There's something remarkable about the way you approach these puzzles. It's as if you see connections that others cannot. Do you ever consider what drives your thought process? I tilted my head, pondering his question. I guess I just feel things really deeply. When I look at a puzzle, it's not just about the shapes or the numbers, it's about the story they tell. Each piece has a purpose, a role to play. I leaned forward, my eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. It's like I'm not just solving a problem, I'm understanding it. Dr. Zeleth nodded, his golden eyes wide with intrigue. Emotions, then. You believe they enhance your cognitive capabilities? Absolutely. I exclaimed, my hands gesturing animatedly. When I'm happy, I see solutions more clearly. When I'm sad, I think about the implications of each answer. It's all connected. He paused, contemplating my words. That's a profound insight, Ellie. It suggests that human intelligence may not be as linear as we once believed. Perhaps it's more holistic, interwoven with our emotional experiences. Just then, the holographic display flickered, shifting to a new puzzle. It was a complex geometric arrangement with numbers swirling around each shape. I could feel the challenge radiating from the screen, and I couldn't help but smile. Ready for this one? I asked, glancing at him. Always, he replied, a hint of mischief in his tone. As I began to analyze the puzzle, I felt a familiar rhythm take over my thoughts. The shapes danced in my mind, and I could almost hear their stories whispering to me. Here's what I think, I said, my voice steady as I pointed to a specific shape. This one represents the foundational knowledge we have. The others build upon it. It's like a staircase leading to, what? A revelation. Dr. Zeleth leaned closer, intrigued. A revelation indeed. But how do you know that? What gives you that certainty? It's instinct, I replied, my brow furrowing in concentration. And maybe it's the emotions tied to the concept. I feel like I'm reaching for something greater than just the answer. With a deep breath, I continued, it's more about understanding the implications of the solution. As I worked through the puzzle, I noticed Dr. Zeleth's expression shift from curiosity to something akin to admiration. Your ability to weave emotions into logic is unparalleled, Ellie. I wonder, he mused, if this could be the key to unlocking further mysteries about human intelligence. Like what? I asked, my interest piqued. Like why humans have such a unique capacity for creativity, he replied thoughtfully. Your approach might indicate that emotional depth is a catalyst for innovation. If we can harness and understand that, it could change everything we know about interspecies cognitive capabilities. His words sent shivers down my spine. I had always known I was different, but hearing him articulate it made it feel real. Do you think other humans can do this too? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. I believe so, he said, his tone earnest. But perhaps not to the degree you can. You're a rare gem, Ellie. We need to protect that. A chill crept into the room, and I sensed a shift in the atmosphere. Protect me. I echoed, feeling a strange mix of pride and anxiety. Yes, he affirmed, his gaze steady. Because there are those who may not understand your potential and might wish to exploit it. The weight of his words hung heavily between us, and I felt a knot form in my stomach. Like who? I asked, fearing the answer. The Council of Elysium, he replied, his voice low. They are a powerful group that believes in controlling knowledge and intelligence across species. They might see you as a threat or a tool. I swallowed hard, the reality of my situation sinking in. But I just want to learn and share ideas. I don't want to be a weapon. Dr. Zeleth leaned forward, his expression softening. And you won't be, as long as we remain vigilant. Your heart and mind are your greatest assets. Together, we can ensure that your gifts are used for good. I took a deep breath, feeling a surge of determination. Okay. Then let's uncover more about humanity's potential together. I want to show the galaxy that we're more than just what they think we are. The professor smiled, a warm, genuine smile that radiated trust and encouragement. That's the spirit, Ellie. Let's continue to explore the depths of your intelligence. I believe we're on the cusp of something monumental. As we resumed our work, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were standing on the edge of a vast unknown. With every puzzle I solved, I felt a sense of urgency growing within me. I knew that my journey was not just about understanding intelligence. It was about redefining what it meant to be human in a universe filled with diverse species and ideas. Suddenly, the holographic display flickered again, this time revealing a series of intricate equations that made my heart race. What's this? I asked, my eyes wide. Dr. Zeleth leaned closer, his excitement palpable. These are the fundamental equations of emotional intelligence. They show how emotions influence decision-making processes across different species. I want you to analyze them and see if you can draw any connections. I nodded, diving into the data with fervor. As I analyzed the equations, I felt a spark of inspiration. What if we could create a model that demonstrates how emotional intelligence enhances cognitive function? Something that could be shared with the galaxy. Dr. Zelitha's eyes lit up. That would be revolutionary, Ellie. If we can quantify emotional intelligence in a way that resonates across species, we could change perceptions entirely. The implications of our work began to unfold in my mind, and I could hardly contain my excitement. Let's do it. Let's show everyone that emotions and intelligence are intertwined. As we delved deeper into the equations, I could feel the weight of responsibility settle on my shoulders. It was more than just a project. It was a mission to redefine humanity's place in the galaxy. I knew that with Dr. Zelith by my side, we could illuminate the path forward, not just for me but for all humans. But as I immersed myself in the calculations, a dark cloud loomed in the back of my mind. The Council of Elysium was out there, watching, waiting. And I could only hope that our work would remain our secret long enough for us to make a difference before they could intervene. The cold metal chair felt unyielding beneath me as I was strapped in, the dimly lit room echoing with the ominous hum of alien machinery. I squirmed, trying to get a better look at my captors, the Council of Elysium. Their faces were obscured by dark hoods, but I could feel their scrutinizing gazes piercing through the shadows like laser beams. "Bring her the analysis module," one of them commanded, their voice smooth yet cold, sending shivers down my spine. I had always imagined the Council as a distant entity, a mythic group that thrived on fear and control. But now, here I was, a mere child caught in their web, my mind racing with thoughts of Dr. Zelith. Where was he? Did he know what had happened to me? My heart pounded in my chest, each beat echoing my desperation. The doors slid open, and a tall figure entered, pushing a cart filled with bizarre devices that blinked and whirred with unsettling energy. My stomach twisted in knots. I had read about psychological tests in my studies, but I never thought I would be subjected to one. "Ellie Lynn," the figure said, his voice dripping with disdain. "You are a remarkable specimen. We intend to unlock the secrets of your mind. You will cooperate, or we will have no choice but to employ more persuasive methods." "Why are you doing this?" I shot back, trying to muster my courage. "You can't just kidnap someone for knowledge. It's wrong." The figure chuckled, a low, menacing sound. "Wrong is a matter of perspective, child. You will learn that soon enough. Now, let's begin." As they started attaching sensors to my head, I felt panic rising within me. I remembered Dr. Zelitha's voice, gently guiding me through challenges, encouraging me to harness my emotions. I had to tap into that strength now. I closed my eyes, focusing on the warmth of my memories, of laughter, of kindness, of the bond one shared with my mentor. "Do you think you can intimidate me?" I said, opening my eyes defiantly. "I'm not just some puzzle to be solved. I'm more than that." "Ah, the human spirit," the figure mused, his tone mocking. "So full of bravado. But you'll see. We will extract every bit of knowledge from you, and you will have no choice in the matter." I felt a jolt as they activated the first device, sending a wave of electrical impulses coursing through my mind. I gasped, trying to fight against the sensations, but I could feel my thoughts pulling apart, like threads unraveling from a tapestry. I had to hold on. I remembered Dr. Zelitha's lessons about emotional intelligence, about how understanding feelings could help navigate even the most complex puzzles. "Imagine," I whispered to myself, "what would Dr. Zelith do?" And then an idea struck me. If they wanted to play with my mind, I could play with theirs. I could manipulate their fears and doubts. "Do you really think you can control me?" I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "You're making a mistake. What I know about human intelligence is not just data, it's a connection to something greater. If you hurt me, you'll only lose." The figure paused, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his features. I seized the moment. "You're scared, aren't you?" I pressed on, channeling my empathy. "You fear what I represent. The unknown. A child who could outsmart the greatest minds in your galaxy. What happens when I break free from your grasp? You'll lose your power." His composure faltered, and I could sense the tension in the room shift. I could feel the other figures behind him shifting uneasily. Doubt was a powerful weapon, and I was determined to wield it. Consider this, I continued, my voice rising with conviction. Every time you force me to reveal my thoughts, you're not just taking knowledge, you're losing a part of your own humanity. You're sealing your doom. The room fell silent, the air thick with an electric tension. I could see the other members exchanging glances, their confidence wavering. Perhaps, the figure said slowly, there's more to you than we anticipated. Exactly, I replied, emboldened. I'm not just a means to an end. Use my intelligence wisely, and we could be allies. You could learn so much from understanding humans, not just exploiting us. I could see the cogs turning in their heads, the gears of their minds grappling with my words. I could almost taste the shift in the atmosphere, the growing uncertainty among my captors. Suddenly, the doors burst open, and in strode Dr. Zeleth, his alien form a striking contrast to the shadowy figures of the council. Relief washed over me, but I couldn't let my guard down. I had to show him I was strong. Ellie, he shouted, his voice booming with authority. Step away from her. Dr. Zeleth. I breathed, my heart leaping at the sight of him. I'm okay, I think. I'm managing. Managing, he snapped, his gaze fierce as he assessed the situation. This isn't a game, Ellie. They're dangerous. I know, I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. But I was trying to reason with them. The council's figure stepped forward, eyes narrowed. You think you can save her? You're too late, Professor. We've already begun the process. Stop. Dr. Zeleth commanded, his voice resonating through the room. You don't understand the depths of her abilities. Your arrogance blinds you to the potential you're about to squander. The figure hesitated, clearly caught off guard. I could see uncertainty creeping back into the council members' expressions. Dr. Zeleth had always instilled in me the belief that knowledge was power, but so was understanding and connection. Let her go, Dr. Zeleth said, stepping closer, his eyes locked onto mine as if drawing strength from our bond. You will regret this decision. Regret? The figure scoffed, but I could tell he was faltering. What makes you think she's more valuable than our plans for galactic supremacy? Because, I interjected, my voice strong and unwavering, I am not just an asset. I'm a bridge, a connection between worlds. And if you choose to destroy that, you will doom yourselves to failure. Dr. Zeleth nodded, a spark of pride flashing in his eyes. I could feel the energy shifting, a sense of solidarity forming. We were stronger together, and they knew it. Perhaps we should reconsider, another member of the council murmured, glancing at the others. Her potential is unprecedented. Enough, the first figure shouted, but the tide had turned. The doubt was palpable, and I could sense the cracks in their resolve. Let her go, Dr. Zeleth repeated, his voice calm yet commanding. You have the chance to choose a different path. One that leads to collaboration rather than domination. As the tension hung thick in the air, I took a deep breath, channeling every ounce of my emotional intelligence. You can learn from us. Together, we can explore new frontiers of understanding, ones that will benefit both humans and aliens alike. The council members exchanged uncertain glances, their power dynamics shifting like sand beneath their feet. I could feel the moment hanging in the balance, teetering between fear and the possibility of unity. Finally, the figure stepped back, his expression darkening as he made a decision. We will not surrender her, he declared, but the tremor in his voice betrayed his uncertainty. And that was when I knew that our escape was imminent. I would not let fear dictate my fate. As I settled back into the familiar environment of Nexus Prime, a sense of relief washed over me. The bright lights of the corridor hummed softly, illuminating the walls adorned with intergalactic art. I could hear the distant whir of technology blending with the gentle chatter of students. Dr. Zeleth walked beside me, his tall, elegant form contrasting against my smaller stature. The events of the past few days weighed heavily on my mind. I had narrowly escaped the clutches of the Council of Elysium, and now we needed to strategize, to ensure that what happened to me would not happen again. Ellie, Dr. Zeleth began, his voice smooth yet tinged with urgency, we must act quickly. The Council is not one to forget easily, and their grip on power is more profound than we realized. I nodded, my heart racing. What do we need to do? I don't want to be a pawn to anyone, especially not them. His large golden eyes regarded me with a mixture of admiration and concern. You possess a unique insight, Ellie. Your emotional intelligence is your greatest weapon. We need to leverage it to expose the Council's manipulations. Right, I replied, my voice steadying. But how? They're powerful. What if they try to silence us again? Dr. Zeleth paused, a thoughtful expression crossing his features. We gather evidence. We expose their unethical experiments and their intentions to exploit you. We will present it to the galaxy, to the Intergalactic Council. They cannot ignore the truth. I felt a surge of determination. Let's do it. I won't let them win. As we made our way to the research lab, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease creeping back. Would they come after me again? The thought gnawed at my mind. But I pushed it aside. I had to focus on the task at hand. The lab was a whirlwind of activity. Screens flickered with data, holograms floated in the air, and alien scholars moved about, discussing various projects. Dr. Zeleth led me to a secluded corner, where a large display screen awaited us. Here, he said, tapping a few buttons, I have collected data on the Council's activities. We need to compile everything into a coherent presentation. As images of clandestine meetings and secret experiments flashed on the screen, I felt a mix of anger and fear. They were testing me. Using me to unlock something they thought was hidden in my mind, I whispered, my voice trembling. Dr. Zeleth placed a comforting hand on my shoulder. They exploited your gifts, Ellie. But we will turn the tables on them. Your insights are invaluable. Let's organize this information. 4 hours, we worked tirelessly, piecing together documents and evidence that highlighted the Council's ulterior motives. I shared my thoughts, my interpretations of the data, and Dr. Zeleth guided me in crafting a narrative that would resonate with a diverse audience. Ellie, he said at one point, your perspective is crucial. The galaxy needs to understand that emotional intelligence is not a weakness, but a strength. It is what makes humans unique. I looked up at him, my brows furrowed. But what if they don't believe us? What if the Council tries to discredit me? They may try, but we will be prepared, he assured me. We will present irrefutable evidence. And you will speak from your heart. The thought of speaking in front of the galaxy's leaders terrified me, yet a flicker of excitement ignited within me. I can do that. I have to. As the days passed, I found myself wrapped in a whirlwind of preparation. Dr. Zeleth and I worked late into the night, rehearsing my speech and refining our presentation. With each practice session, my confidence grew, but so did the strange visions that began to invade my dreams. Night after night, I was transported to a cosmic landscape, filled with swirling colors and ethereal shapes. I saw fleeting images of ancient beings, their forms intertwined with the fabric of the universe. I felt a pull, a connection to something larger than myself. Each vision left me with a sense of urgency, as if it were urging me to uncover my origins, to understand the depths of my potential. One evening, after a particularly vivid dream, I approached Dr. Zeleth. I need to talk to you about something, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. He glanced up, his expression attentive. Of course, Ellie. What's on your mind? I've been having these visions, I confessed. It's like I'm seeing pieces of a puzzle that I can't quite complete. They feel connected to something, but I don't know what. Dr. Zeleth's eyes widened slightly. Visions? This is intriguing. What do you see? I took a deep breath, trying to articulate the swirling images in my mind. Colors, shapes, beings that seem to resonate with energy. I feel connected to them, but it's overwhelming. I feel like there's something about my origins that I don't understand. He considered my words carefully. It's possible that your emotional intelligence enables you to tap into a deeper universal consciousness. Perhaps it is a sign that you are meant to bridge the gap between species, to help them understand the power of emotions. But why now? I asked, frustration creeping into my voice. Why didn't I see this before? Perhaps the experiences you've endured have unlocked something within you. You've faced challenges that pushed you beyond your limits. You are evolving, Ellie. His words resonated with me, and for the first time, I felt a flicker of understanding. So my journey is not just about saving myself, but about revealing a greater truth. Exactly, Dr. Zeleth affirmed, his tone encouraging. Your journey is intertwined with the fate of many. You will help reshape perceptions about humanity's place in the cosmos. As the day of the revelation approached, I felt a blend of excitement and anxiety coursing through me. The lab buzzed with anticipation, and I could sense the weight of the moment hanging in the air. I was determined to stand tall, to speak my truth, and to share the revelations that had begun to take shape in my mind. On the eve of the presentation, I stood in front of the mirror, adjusting my attire, a mixture of human and alien design. I took a deep breath, examining my reflection. "You can do this, Ellie," I whispered to myself. "You are not just a girl, you are a voice for all." With renewed resolve, I headed to the auditorium, where representatives from across the galaxy gathered. As I walked onto the stage, the murmurs subsided, and all eyes turned toward me. Dr. Zeleth stood in the shadows, a reassuring presence. I could feel his confidence in me, and it bolstered my own. I took a moment to absorb the scene before me, the diverse faces, the flickering holograms, and the weight of expectation. "Hello everyone," I began, my voice steadying as I spoke. "I am Ellie Lynn, and today I want to share my journey, a journey that speaks to the heart of what it means to be human." As I continued, I felt the energy shift within me, a blend of fear and exhilaration. I was ready to reveal not just my story, but the truth that lay behind my visions. The cosmic enigma within me was beginning to unravel, and with it, the potential to change the galaxy forever. As I stood before the vast assembly of delegates from across the galaxy, an electric tension hung in the air. My heart raced, each beat echoing in my ears as I gazed out at the sea of alien faces, some curious, others skeptical, and a few I could feel were lurking with malice. The grand hall of Nexus Prime was adorned with symbols of unity, but I could sense the fractures beneath the surface. Today was the day I would share my truth, to reveal the power of emotional intelligence and our shared potential. "Ellie Lynn, you can do this," I whispered to myself, gripping the podium tightly. I took a deep breath, channeling all my anxiety into a determined calm. Dr. Zeleth stood just off to my side, his presence a reassuring anchor amidst the storm of uncertainty. I could see the pride in his eyes, a glimmer of hope that I could change everything. "Esteemed delegates," I began, my voice echoing through the hall. "Today I stand before you not just as a human, but as a representative of the potential that lies within all of us, across species, across worlds." I could feel the energy shift as I spoke, some leaning closer, their expressions softening. Throughout my journey, I have learned that intelligence is not simply a measure of logic or problem-solving. It is intricately tied to our emotions, to our ability to empathize, to connect with one another. I paused, letting my words sink in, scanning the audience for reactions. A green-skinned delegate raised a hand, his features sharp and inquisitive. "But how can you assert that emotions enhance intelligence? Isn't it a distraction?" I smiled, feeling a rush of confidence. That's a common misconception. Emotions can guide us, inform our decisions, and help us understand one another in ways that pure logic cannot. Imagine a universe where we embrace our feelings and use them to build bridges instead of walls. As I continued, the energy in the room shifted again. I spoke of the shared struggles and triumphs of our species, how empathy had saved lives and fostered understanding. But just as I reached the peak of my speech, a commotion erupted at the back of the hall. A group of agents from the Council of Elysium began to push their way through the crowd, their intentions unmistakable. Panic rippled through the assembly. "Ellie, stay focused," Dr. Zeleth urged, his voice low yet commanding. I could see his eyes darting toward the chaos, calculating our next move. I took a steadying breath, refusing to let fear dictate my actions. "Please everyone," I shouted, trying to regain control. "Let us not be swayed by those who wish to sow discord. We must stand united." My plea was met with mixed reactions. Some rallied behind me, while others seemed paralyzed by fear. As the agents closed in, I felt a surge of urgency. "I have something to show you all," I declared, forcing my voice to remain steady. "A formula that transcends traditional understanding, one that integrates emotional intelligence with cognitive function." With a flick of my wrist, I activated the holographic display embedded in the podium. The air shimmered, and a complex web of symbols and equations materialized, swirling in vibrant colors. The assembly gasped, the initial chaos momentarily forgotten as they were drawn into the spectacle. "This," I continued, "is the key to unlocking our true potential. It illustrates how our emotions can enhance our cognitive abilities, allowing us to solve problems in ways we've yet to fully understand." I saw Dr. Zeleth nodding, his face a mixture of pride and concern, urging me to proceed with caution. Each connection, I explained, represents a pathway that we can use to bridge our differences. By embracing our feelings, we can achieve greatness, not just individually, but collectively. I felt a wave of energy rush through me, the truth of my words resonating deep within. But just as I thought I had captured their attention, a sharp voice cut through the murmurs. You think you can sway us with pretty lights, human? Your kind is nothing but a threat. The speaker, a tall, armored figure from a distant planet, stepped forward, his demeanor radiating hostility. The crowd began to shift uneasily, fear creeping back in. Enough. Dr. Zeleth's voice boomed across the hall, silencing the dissent. You will listen to her. This is not just about one species. This is about the future of our galaxy. His presence commanded respect, and I felt a surge of relief wash over me. But just as I was about to continue, the agents from the council lunged forward, attempting to disable the holographic display. In that instant, a wave of fear surged through me, but I forced it down. I had to be strong. Dr. Zeleth, I need your help. I shouted, my heart racing. He stepped closer, his eyes locked onto mine, a silent understanding passing between us. With a swift motion, he activated his own device, creating a barrier around us while simultaneously manipulating the holographic display to show the truth, the unethical experiments, the manipulation of knowledge, the darkness that the council had attempted to conceal. The assembly gasped, the tide shifting once more. This is what they fear. Dr. Zeleth declared, his voice steady and powerful. The truth of Ellie Lynn's potential, the truth of human intelligence. We stand on the precipice of a new era, one that values cooperation over domination. As the crowd absorbed this revelation, I could see the skepticism fading, replaced by curiosity and determination. They began to murmur, discussing the implications of what we had revealed. In that moment, I felt a spark of hope. Together, we can change the narrative, I urged, my voice rising with conviction. Let us work hand in hand to foster understanding, to embrace both our intellects and our emotions. Only then can we truly thrive. Suddenly, Dr. Zeleth stepped forward, his expression shifting to one of authority. And I am not just a bystander in this. I have been working undercover within the Council of Elysium to protect Ellie and her potential. It was never my intention to manipulate, but to safeguard the future of all species. Gasps rippled through the assembly, disbelief mingling with admiration. You? One delegate exclaimed, his voice laced with astonishment. You were a part of them? Yes, Dr. Zeleth replied, his tone firm. But my loyalty has always been to the pursuit of knowledge and the preservation of peace. Those who sought to exploit Ellie will face justice. The atmosphere shifted dramatically, the delegates now united in their desire for change. The agents from the council, realizing their position was untenable, began to retreat, but it was too late. The tide had turned. As the assembly erupted in applause, I felt a rush of exhilaration. I had found my voice, and in that moment, I knew I was not alone. I had Dr. Zeleth by my side, and together, we could pave the way for a new era of understanding. Thank you, I said, overwhelmed with emotion. Thank you for believing in me and in the power of our shared intelligence. Together, we will redefine what it means to be truly intelligent. And as the applause roared around me, I realized that the cosmic enigma of Ellie Lynn was only just beginning to unfold. The galaxy was watching, and we were ready to embrace the future together.